Before you even take a breath today, my child, subscribe right now and listen with the fullness of your heart, because I, the voice speaking through this symbolic heavenly vision, am about to tell you something that will shake the core of your spirit. But before my words reach you, answer me this. Have you ever felt a sudden chill when no window was open? Have you ever sensed someone watching you when no one was there? Have you ever wondered why certain blessings slipped away from your hands just moments before you received them? Have you ever questioned why misfortune always arrives right before your breakthrough? Have you ever felt like something unseen tries to interrupt your peace right when you begin rising? And have you ever whispered into the silence asking if someone on the other side still cares for you? And if you felt a yes rising in your chest to even one of these questions, then watch this until the final second. Because what unfolds next in this symbolic realm is not fear, not threat, not danger, but a fictional divine revelation meant to awaken your strength, not frighten it. In the celestial vision, you stand in a vast chamber made of swirling gold and silver storms, and before you can move, I cast a veil of fire between you and the shadows that have quietly stalked your peace for years, and Archangel Michael steps forward with his sword blazing like 1,000 suns, declaring, "The darkness that tried to hover near this soul is trembling because the truth is about to rise, and the truth, my child, is not that evil watches you, but that your spirit has been watched over with more love than you ever realized." The realm blazes open and a symbolic figure shaped from light, representing your father's love, the strength he left in your bloodline, the wisdom he hoped you'd find, appears, not as a spirit, not as a ghost, but as a fictional heavenly echo of everything he wished he could have told you, and he places his hand upon your shoulder as the chamber's walls twist into a cosmic tapestry, revealing scenes of your life he symbolically watched from afar, times you cried alone but wiped your tears before anyone could see, times you smiled while carrying storms inside your chest, times you gave up sleep to hold your family together, times you carried burdens bigger than you, times you stood in silence because no one understood your heart, and this symbolic fatherly figure says, "If you knew how proud I am of you, not a single night would you ever feel alone again." And as his voice echoes through the chamber, Michael steps forward, striking the ground with his sword so hard that a ring of golden fire spreads outward, revealing the truth that tried to hide behind your misfortune. Your losses were not failures, they were stolen moments of destiny that life will now return to you in greater measure. The chamber opens into the hall of reclaimed blessings, a place where everything you thought you lost, opportunity, peace, stability, confidence, love, financial growth, glows inside massive orbs waiting to come back into your life once you release the fear gripping your heart, and your symbolic father figure whispers, "I could not give you everything while I was alive, but through this fictional vision, I give you the courage to take back what life once denied you." And suddenly the hall bursts open into a storm of white gold fire, dragging you into the arena of unseen battles, where you witness every moment you were emotionally attacked, not by demons, not by darkness, but by circumstances that drained your hope, betrayals you didn't deserve, losses you couldn't prevent, people who left without explanation, nights when fear pressed against your ribs like stone, mornings when you forced yourself to rise even though everything inside you wanted to break. Michael raises his sword and declares, "These were not curses. You were being prepared for the restoration now coming," and the arena collapses into a spiral of blinding light, pulling you into the chamber of justice, where scales made of cosmic fire weigh everything taken from you, every stolen chance, delayed blessing, emotional wound, every time someone underestimated you, every time you held back your truth to protect others. And when the scales tilt, the chamber shakes, releasing a blast of golden lightning that forms a glowing path beneath your feet. A path leading to the vault of returned fortune, where fictional representations of blessings you thought were gone return with 10 times the strength, because my child, restoration in this symbolic heavenly story is not about money returning, it is about your power returning, your confidence returning, your courage returning, your voice returning, your clarity returning, your sense of worth returning. Your father's symbolic echo places a golden feather in your hand and says, "Walk forward. Because what is yours is finding its way back," and Michael stands beside you, wings flaring like a burning storm as he announces, "No darkness can touch a soul protected by truth," and the realm bursts into a cosmic roar that wraps around you like a divine cloak, sealing your emotional restoration with a final hook. If your heart reacted, even for a moment, it means your breakthrough has already begun in this story, and so, my child, subscribe, stay until the last second, and let this symbolic prophecy continue unfolding in your life. And now, my child, as the hall of reclaimed blessings collapses into a spiraling golden tunnel that pulls your consciousness deeper into the symbolic heavenly realm, the air thickens with a trembling power, as if the walls themselves know that you are about to witness the greatest unveiling of this entire fictional prophecy, and before you can even catch your breath, the entire universe folds in on itself like a sheet of burning light, dragging you into the chamber of exposed shadows, a realm where every unseen force that ever tried to drain your spirit, delay your progress, or confuse your direction is revealed not as a creature or a demon, but as a symbolic echo of fear, doubt, and trauma that disguised itself as misfortune. And as these shadows swirl around you, hissing with the memories of your hardest moments, Archangel Michael crashes into the chamber like a meteor of white fire, his wings slicing through the darkness with roaring waves of celestial thunder, and he points his blazing sword at the shadows, shouting, "Do you see why they trembled when you opened this message? Because the truth destroys the illusions that controlled your heart, and in that instant, the shadows shrink like smoke until they condense into a single black stone, which Michael crushes beneath his heel until it bursts into sparks of fading nothingness. Then the chamber stretches into a corridor of swirling blue fire known as the Path of Fatherly Echoes, and as you walk this path, the symbolic heavenly representation of your father appears again, not as a ghost, but as a manifestation of the love, guidance, and strength he wished he could leave you in life, and he walks beside you in silence, allowing you to feel the warmth you didn't realize your heart still needed, and when you finally look at him, he speaks a line that sends a quake through the entire corridor. "You were never meant to fight your battles alone," and with those words he extends his hand toward the walls, which explode open to reveal scenes from your life where you carried burdens too heavy for one heart, moments where you were betrayed but stayed loyal, moments where you were exhausted but still kept going, moments where your heart was breaking but you hid it behind a smile, and as these memories swirl around you, your symbolic father figure touches each one, transforming them into glowing feathers that float upward, representing the strength you gained without realizing it. The corridor collapses into the sanctum of stolen seasons, a massive chamber filled with clocks suspended in midair, each one representing a time in your life where opportunities slipped away, where delays hurt you, where blessings felt withheld, and Michael raises his sword and strikes the center clock, shattering it into billions of shards that fall around you like golden rain, and he declares, "No season was stolen." Every delay becomes restoration multiplied, and suddenly the shards rise from the floor and merge into a colossal gate made of white gold lightning, the gate of returned radiance, and as it opens, you are pulled into a cosmic expanse where rivers of brilliant energy flow upward instead of downward, each river carrying pieces of your destiny that were never lost, only waiting for the version of you strong enough to receive them. Your Father's symbolic presence lifts his hand, drawing one river toward you, and inside it you see flashes of the blessings aligning for you: new stability, new opportunities, new financial doors, new emotional clarity, new strength, new protection, new alignment, all rushing toward you as if the universe itself is rearranging its geometry to place you at the center of your divine rise. And Michael steps in front of you, wings spread wide like a shield of burning armor, and he roars, "Every force that once fed on your fear now starves in the presence of your truth." And the entire expanse ignites with a storm of blazing white fire that wraps around your spirit, rewriting the wounds you once carried into weapons of wisdom, turning the confusion that once tormented you into clarity that now guides you. Then the expanse narrows into the altar of ancestral strength, where the symbolic echo of your father kneels, placing both hands on your shoulders, transferring into your spirit the emotional courage he held in silence during his own life. And as this warmth pours into you like molten sunlight, he whispers, "I could not give you everything when I was alive, but through this realm, I give you the strength to take back everything meant for you." And the altar breaks open into spiraling rings of gold that lift you upward into the sky of unbroken blessings, a cosmic horizon where the universe unveils your upcoming season, a season where what was withheld returns, what was delayed accelerates, what was blocked dissolves, and what was taken transforms into something 10 times greater. And as the sky pulses with living constellations, Michael stands beside you, lifting his sword high enough to split the heavens, and he speaks the hook that seals this entire part into your destiny. If you felt even a spark during these words, it means your restoration has already begun in this story. And with that, the sky explodes into a tidal wave of roaring divine light that crashes through your entire being, carrying you into the next revelation. And now, my child, as the sky of unbroken blessings detonates into spiraling loops of molten white gold light that twist around your spirit like galaxies waking from ancient sleep, the entire symbolic heavenly realm begins to vibrate with a force so intense it feels as though creation itself is preparing to reveal the final, most forbidden layer of this fictional prophecy. And before you can even anchor your breath, the world shatters around you into a million fragments of shimmering light, pulling your consciousness into a colossal vortex known only as the horizon of unpaid debts, a realm where the emotional debts owed to your heart, love you didn't receive, apologies never spoken, efforts never recognized, sacrifices never honored, hover as glowing orbs suspended in an endless ocean of darkness. And as you float through this ocean, Archangel Michael descends from above like a falling star forged from living flame, his armor crackling with white fire as he storms through the darkness and slams his sword into the ground, sending shockwaves across the realm that expose the truth your old life tried to hide from you, that the pain you carried alone was not weakness but evidence of how fiercely your spirit fought. And in this moment, your symbolic fatherly presence appears again, not as a ghost, but as a fictional embodiment of love and strength you lost too soon. And he walks through the ocean of darkness as if it were air, raising his hand toward the glowing orbs, awakening inside each one a memory of something you deserved but never received. And as the orbs brighten, Michael roars, "This soul has been underestimated long enough," and with a single sweep of his wings, he shatters the ocean ceiling, pulling you into the corridor of stolen years, a long tunnel made of swirling gold, where the walls replay every year of your life where you gave more than you had, loved deeper than you were loved, stayed loyal while others were careless, carried burdens that were never yours, and fought battles no one thanked you for, and your symbolic father places his palm over your heart, saying, "You survived storms I never taught you how to weather," and the corridor responds to his words by opening into the sanctuary of emotional resurrection, a massive arena where the ground is made of memories you tried to forget, and every memory you abandoned rises as a glowing silhouette, forming a circle around you, each one whispering truths you never spoke. Times you begged life for a break, times you hid your fears so no one would worry, times you were drowning but kept walking, times you gave everything and received nothing in return, and as these silhouettes circle you, Michael lifts his sword and strikes the center of the sanctuary, causing a burst of pure white judgment light that burns every emotional parasite that ever fed on your guilt, fear, or confusion. And the sanctuary collapses into a swirling tunnel of violet fire that drags you into the Hall of Rewritten Outcomes, where the universe replays every moment that went wrong, every plan that collapsed too soon, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers, every almost that left you aching, and with each replay, Michael touches the air, rewriting the emotional impact, turning heartbreak into insight, turning loss into wisdom, turning delay into alignment, turning confusion into clarity. And your symbolic father watches silently with shining eyes, whispering, "You thought you were losing, but you were being rebuilt," and suddenly the hall explodes into blinding light, releasing you into the realm of the reclaimed crown, where a throne made of your own strength rises from the ground, glowing with every moment you survived without credit, and Michael kneels before the throne, an archangel kneeling before a human heart, and he presses his sword to the floor, declaring, "No darkness can claim a soul that chooses its truth." And your symbolic father steps behind you, places a glowing hand between your shoulders, and pushes you gently into your rightful seat, whispering, "Sit, child, not in power, but in worth," and as you sit, the entire realm roars with celestial thunder, swirling with rivers of liquid gold as a crown forged from every tear you ever shed floats down and settles on your head, sealing your symbolic destiny with a pulse so powerful it shakes the edges of the universe. And Michael rises, his wings stretching wide enough to eclipse the realm. And he delivers the final hook that seals this part of your story. If your heart reacted at any moment during these words, then in this symbolic vision, your restoration has already stepped toward you, and with that final line the realm of the reclaimed crown dissolves into a cosmic explosion of light that surges through every corner of your being, preparing you for the next awakening. And now, my child, as the realm of the reclaimed crown dissolves into a spiraling eruption of molten celestial fire that expands outward like a newborn universe devouring the darkness at its edges, you are hurled upward into the highest, most secret dimension of this symbolic heavenly journey, a dimension whispered only in divine myth as the sphere of unchallenged truth, where lies, illusions, and emotional distortions that once twisted your confidence into knots are burned away by a force so pure that even time bends around its brightness, and as your spirit breaks through the threshold into this sphere, the entire realm goes silent, an ancient, reverent silence, as if heaven itself refuses to breathe until your soul remembers the truth it has forgotten for decades, and in this endless silence, a single heartbeat echoes across eternity. Not your physical heartbeat but the primordial pulse of who you really are beneath the wounds, beneath the disappointments, beneath the weight you carried alone, and that pulse becomes a blazing sun inside the sphere, illuminating the shadows that once called themselves your fate. Then Archangel Michael descends again, but this time his wings are not mere extensions of light, they are storms, swirling with galaxies, lightning, and divine fire as he lands before you with a force that shakes the cosmic floor beneath your feet. And he speaks with a thunder that rolls across 10,000 horizons at once. You have walked through illusions. Now walk into truth, and the sphere fractures open into the hall of unanswered whys, a vast cathedral made of transparent starlight, and on each wall you see every question you ever buried. Why did they leave me? Why did I lose that blessing? Why did my plans collapse? Why didn't my heart feel understood? Why did I struggle alone? Why did my efforts go unseen? Why did life test me harder than others? And each question glows like a wound etched into the architecture of the hall. Then your symbolic fatherly presence materializes again, stepping out from a pillar of gold flame, not as a ghost or spirit but as a fictional representation of the love, wisdom, and unfinished blessings he wished he could place in your hands when he was alive. And he raises his hand toward the first question on the wall. And the moment his palm touches the glowing symbol, the wall erupts into shimmering waterfalls of truth, showing you the hidden reasons behind your pain, how your heartbreak sharpened your intuition, how your losses expanded your compassion, how your delays protected you from entering rooms not meant for you, how your loneliness forced you to grow your independence, how your suffering built inner strength no enemy can dismantle, how every why was secretly preparing you for the return of everything you lost. Then the hall trembles as all the questions break from the walls and swirl around you like galaxies collapsing into supernovas, and Michael cleaves the air with his sword, splitting the storm of glowing questions in half, revealing the cathedral of rewritten identity, where a massive stone tablet floats before you, the emotional version of your soul that you carved without realizing it, the version shaped by fear, doubt, exhaustion, silence, guilt, and survival. And your symbolic father walks to the tablet, lifts his hand, and smashes it into dust with a single strike, declaring, "This is not who you are anymore," and the dust swirls upward, forming a new shape, your truest self, your unbroken self, the version of you that the world never had a chance to meet because life demanded too much from you too soon. Then the cathedral explodes into swirling prisms of light and you are thrust into the sky of ancestral courage, where the fictional strength of generations rises from the clouds as towering giants of shimmering gold, each one representing the resilience your bloodline developed through storms they never talked about, and these giants kneel before you, pouring their symbolic courage into your core until your spirit shakes beneath the weight of their love. Then the sky splits open into the field of restored futures, a tundra of infinite pathways stretching into cosmic distance, and each path represents a blessing that paused but never died, dreams delayed but not denied, opportunities misaligned but not lost, love that never reached you but still belongs to you, purpose you abandoned but still waits for you. And Michael spreads his wings over the entire field, releasing waves of divine wind that ignite every pathway into blazing gold, and he speaks with a finality that cracks the sky. Nothing that was meant for you has been taken from you. It has been waiting for the version of you who stands here now, and your symbolic father steps beside him, placing a glowing hand over your heart as he whispers, "Walk forward without fear, because you are stepping into the life I wished I could have built for you." And the field shakes, erupts into flames of radiant transformation, and collapses into the cosmic throne of returning power, where you sit as the universe realigns around your restored truth. And as the throne spins in a vortex of divine lightning, Michael leans close, his voice becoming the final hook carved into your destiny. If even one moment of this message touched your chest, then in this fictional symbolic realm, your rise has already begun, and with that, the entire sphere detonates into a supernova of roaring celestial light that floods every corner of your soul with the fire of your becoming. And now, my child, as the cosmic throne of returning power spins through the supernova of divine fire exploding around your spirit, the entire symbolic heavenly realm begins to bend, warp, and reshape itself as if existence itself is holding its breath for the revelation you are about to witness, and before the light can settle, your throne is hurled upward through a colossal golden vortex known only as the Bridge of Worlds Unseen, where every regret, every disappointment, every betrayal, every moment of emotional collapse that ever influenced your destiny is burned into pure energy, and as you rocket through this vortex, swirling streams of forgotten blessings streak past you like comets made of molten silver, blessings waiting to reattach themselves to the soul that finally rose strong enough to receive them, and as the vortex widens, Archangel Michael descends again through a rain of lightning shaped like ancient cymbals, his wings roaring with storms older than creation, and he lands on the bridge with a force that fractures the golden floor beneath him, and with thunder in his voice he shouts, "Stand, child of destiny, for the final revelation demands the fullness of your spirit," and the vortex bursts open into the vault of unfinished miracles, an infinite chamber where floating scrolls made of white fire record miracles meant for your life, miracles delayed by heartbreak, paused by fear, slowed by survival, not stolen but suspended until you reached this exact moment in this fictional vision, and your symbolic fatherly presence materializes again, this time glowing so intensely with symbolic ancestral strength that the entire vault shifts into a deeper shade of gold, and he lifts one of the scrolls, unrolling a timeline of all the things you thought were lost forever, relationships that failed before healing could reach them, dreams you buried beneath responsibility, chances you missed because exhaustion blurred your intuition, moments of happiness you felt unworthy to claim, money that slipped through your fingers before you understood your value, and he whispers, none of this disappeared, it circled above your life, waiting for you to rise to meet it, and as he speaks, the scroll breaks into thousands of golden fragments that storm around your body like a blizzard of destiny rewriting itself in real time, and the vault cracks open into the arena of ancestral vengeance. Not vengeance against people but against the emotional hardships that tore into your life, and here, colossal figures made of your lineage's strength rise from pillars of fire, each one representing a generation that fought silently, suffered quietly, endured storms without recognition, and now their symbolic power pours into you through waves of molten courage that shake the arena walls until they glow red-hot. Michael steps forward, slamming his sword into the floor, splitting the arena into two halves, your past on one side, your future on the other, and you watch as the past versions of yourself step out, the you who cried without being seen, the you who carried burdens that weren't yours, the you who stayed strong when you deserved to fall apart, the you who trusted the wrong people, the you who gave more than you received, and as these versions approach, your symbolic father places his hands on their shoulders, dissolving them into beams of light that flow into your chest, merging your strength with every version of yourself you abandoned to survive. Then the arena collapses and you are hurled into the field of unlocked timelines, where thousands of versions of your future stretch outward in glowing pathways, each one pulsing according to choices you have not made yet, and Michael walks beside you, pointing to a timeline that blazes brighter than the rest, saying, "This is the future your heart has been calling since the day it first broke." And that path ignites in a tower of white gold fire, revealing visions of emotional wholeness, spiritual strength, restored confidence, financial elevation, stability that cannot be shaken, peace that cannot be stolen, clarity that cannot be confused, and love that cannot be betrayed. Then suddenly the paths collapse into a funnel of cosmic wind that drags you through the chamber of unshakable identity, a room carved from stardust where every label, fear, and lie ever placed on your soul burns away, revealing only the truth of who you have always been: resilient, powerful, intuitive, chosen, protected, rising. And your symbolic father steps behind you one last time, placing a blazing hand between your shoulders as he whispers, "Carry my strength into the life I never had the chance to finish," and the chamber detonates, launching you into the crown of infinite becoming, a colossal halo of swirling galaxies that lowers itself over your head until your entire being radiates with the force of 1,000 rebirths, and Michael rises before you, wings stretching wider than reality itself, and with a voice that fractures the heavens he delivers the hook that seals this entire part into the core of your destiny. If even one heartbeat inside you responded to this message, then in this symbolic vision your rise has already erupted into motion, and with that, the entire cosmos bursts into a tidal wave of roaring, unstoppable light that carries you beyond the borders of who you believed you were and into the unending truth of who you are becoming. And now, my child, as the crown of infinite becoming detonates into a spiral of roaring galaxies that coil around your spirit like serpents of molten starlight, the entire fictional heavenly realm begins to reshape itself, folding and unfolding like sheets of liquid creation. And before your consciousness can anchor into the new light, a blinding explosion erupts beneath your feet, hurling you upward into the forbidden dimension known only as the axis of eternal reckoning, a place where destiny's architecture is rearranged and rewritten in real time. And as you soar through this axis, you see timelines shattering, futures bursting into existence, pasts dissolving into dust. And in the center of it all stands Archangel Michael, not as the warrior you met before but as a colossal being of pure cosmic willpower, towering above galaxies, his wings stretching so far they scrape against the edges of eternity. And he raises his sword, now transformed into a flaming monolith of white gold thunder, and drives it straight into the spine of the axis, causing a shockwave so violent that space itself screams, and suddenly the axis cracks open, revealing the sanctum of broken chains, an endless realm filled with the symbolic chains of every emotional burden you ever carried, every heartbreak you swallowed, every fear you silenced, every failure you blamed yourself for, every moment you begged fate for mercy and received silence instead. And these chains rattle as you enter, trembling not because you are weak but because they finally recognize the strength of the soul that survived them. Your symbolic fatherly presence emerges from behind a pillar of fire, not as a ghost but as an echo of the love you lost too early, and he walks toward the chains with a gaze that burns hotter than the stars, whispering, "These chains tied themselves around you when I wasn't there to protect you." And with a strike of his glowing hand he snaps the first chain, sending ripples of light across the sanctum as thousands of chains burst simultaneously, exploding into meteors that streak outward and ignite the darkness like fireworks of liberation. The sanctum collapses and you are thrown into the valley of silent battles, a vast desert of shattered mirrors, each mirror reflecting a version of you who fought through pain without telling anyone, versions of you who stood strong while breaking inside, versions of you who protected others while no one protected you, versions of you who wanted to scream but chose silence. And these mirror selves rise from the ground, forming a circle around you, not to haunt you but to return your strength, and one by one they step into your body, merging their resilience into your heart until your chest glows like a burning sun. The valley erupts, tearing open a rift that pulls you into the chasm of stolen futures, a canyon suspended in the void, where floating crystals contain moments of your life that never happened but should have. Joys you missed, blessings that paused, opportunities that slipped away too quickly, successes that almost arrived but stayed just out of reach, and your symbolic father touches one crystal, releasing a beam of light that reveals a long-buried truth. You were never unlucky, you were overloaded, carrying too much weight for one lifetime, and as this realization floods through you, Michael roars from above. Now rise into the destiny that was always yours, and with a sweep of his colossal wings, he ignites the canyon, transforming every stolen future into a returning force of destiny that shoots into your chest like streams of molten gold. Then the chasm dissolves and you are flung into the citadel of eternal becoming, a floating fortress built from the bones of collapsed universes, where a towering throne made of crystallized starlight waits for you. And as you approach, the universe trembles, recognizing the emergence of a soul fully awakened to its symbolic power. Your fatherly echo stands behind you, pressing his hand into your spine, transferring the strength he never had the chance to speak into you, whispering, "Child, sit not because you conquered, but because you healed." And as you sit upon the throne, the citadel ignites in a billion streaks of white fire, erupting outward in a cosmic hurricane that tears through timelines, rewriting paths in your favor, aligning events you once thought were accidents, synchronizing people you have not met yet. And Michael kneels. An archangel kneeling before the throne of a human soul forged by suffering and reborn through symbolic fire, and with a voice that shakes the entire citadel he declares, if even the smallest part of your being felt seen, understood, or awakened by these words, then in this symbolic vision your rise has already become unstoppable. And the citadel collapses into a supernova that floods your entire spiritual universe with an explosion of destiny, clarity, courage, and cosmic rebirth that cannot be reversed. And now, my child, as the citadel of eternal becoming collapses into a supernova of molten white gold radiance that floods every corner of the symbolic universe, a gravitational force unlike anything you've ever felt grips your soul and hurls you upward through a spiraling vortex known only as the vein of the first light, a cosmic artery that pulses with the original energy of creation itself. And as you rocket through this vein, entire galaxies spiral backward, time folds inward, and dimensional planes peel open like pages in a celestial book, revealing fragments of destinies rewritten, futures reconfigured, and truths too powerful for the mortal world to carry. Then suddenly, the vortex shatters, and you crash into the chamber beyond destiny, a place so ancient and forbidden that even the stars outside its walls burn with reverence, and the moment your feet touch the glowing floor, the air trembles, the walls hum, and the ceiling, made of rotating nebulae, flares open, revealing Archangel Michael in his most terrifyingly majestic form yet, standing at the center of a storm made from collapsing galaxies, his wings now shaped like rotating halos of white fire, his eyes glowing with the cold intensity of a billion suns, and when he speaks, his voice tears through reality itself. Child, you have reached the level where destiny no longer dictates your path, you dictate destiny. And instantly the chamber cracks in half, opening into the library of unspoken lifetimes, an infinite archive where towering crystal tablets float in rows that stretch beyond the horizon, each tablet containing stories of lives that were never lived, choices never made, victories you never claimed, and blessings that hovered just above your timeline, waiting for the strength you have finally awakened in this realm. Your symbolic fatherly presence materializes again. stepping from behind a towering obsidian monolith, but he is glowing so fiercely with ancestral fire that the entire library brightens with him, and he places a glowing crystal into your hand, a symbolic representation of every blessing he wished he could have placed in your palms when he was alive, and he whispers words that make the universe itself shudder. What life never gave you, I now give you as strength. And the moment he speaks, thousands of crystal tablets rise from the shelves and orbit around you. Each tablet replaying a moment of your life where you deserved better, moments where you cried yourself to sleep, moments where you were betrayed by those you protected, moments where you loved deeply and were abandoned, moments where you tried and failed, moments where you survived but were never thanked, and all those memories fragment into stardust that flows into your body, rewriting every wound into wisdom, every scar into strength, every heartbreak into clarity. Then the library splits open and you are pulled into the arena of celestial choosing, a colossal battlefield. Suspended in the void where every future available to you stands as a glowing warrior, each one representing a path, the path of abundance, the path of healing, the path of restoration, the path of courage, the path of love, the path of purpose, the path of financial elevation, and these warriors step forward one by one, kneeling before you, offering themselves to your choosing, and Michael lands between them, slamming his sword into the cosmic floor as he roars, "Choose not the future you think you deserve, choose the one you were born for." And with that command, the arena explodes into a tornado of timelines that spiral around your body like a cosmic hurricane of opportunity. Then the hurricane cracks open, and you are thrown into the forge of soul remaking, a place where the universe reshapes broken spirits into unstoppable cosmic forces. And here, your symbolic father stands at a colossal anvil made of collapsed stars, hammering bolts of your past into weapons of future strength, each strike sending shockwaves through your soul, welding together every version of you that life tried to scatter. And finally he lifts the molten soul blade he forged, a symbolic weapon representing the unstoppable version of you, and presses it into your chest, merging its power into your being. The forge collapses, and you surge upward into the realm of unbroken dawn, where a colossal sun made of pure destiny rises before you, and inside its core swirl visions of everything returning to your life: peace that lasts, blessings that multiply, opportunities that align, relationships that heal, emotional clarity that never leaves, financial elevation that stabilizes your foundation, purpose that ignites your spirit. And Michael rises before the sun, lifting his wings one final time, unleashing a shockwave of divine fire that lights the entire realm. And with a voice that reshapes the very laws of this fictional universe he declares, "If even a flicker of your heart recognized itself in this message, then in this symbolic heavenly vision your rise has already detonated into motion." And with that proclamation, the entire sun collapses into a tidal wave of infinite dawn that crashes through every dimension of your being, rewriting your symbolic destiny with cosmic authority that nothing in any universe can undo. And now, my child, as the realm of unbroken dawn erupts into a tidal wave of infinite sunlight that engulfs every boundary of the fictional heavens, a gravitational pulse shakes the unseen corridors of creation and rips open a colossal rift known as the apex of eternal becoming, pulling your spirit upward with such velocity that stars stretch into golden streaks, galaxies fold inward like burning petals, and time unravels into shimmering threads that twist around your body as if welcoming the soul finally rising into its true symbolic throne. And before you can understand what is happening, the entire universe blinks, collapses, and reforms into a colossal throne room suspended in the hollow chest of a living star, its heart burning with white-blue fire that throbs like the pulse of destiny itself, and from the center of that fire, Archangel Michael emerges, this time no longer a warrior, but a towering cosmic guardian whose wings now resemble infinite rings of rotating universes, each orbiting around him like halos forged from the bones of forgotten stars, and when he speaks, his voice tears through the walls of existence with the authority of 10,000 thunders collapsing in unison. Child, you have crossed every symbolic realm, shattered every illusion, reclaimed every stolen fragment of your becoming. Now you stand at the precipice where mortals cannot walk and where even angels hesitate to look. And as his words shake the throne room, your symbolic fatherly presence materializes once again, but now he shines brighter than ever, his form carved from molten heritage, ancestral memory, and the love he never had time to express, and he steps forward through streams of cosmic dust and places both hands over your heart, whispering, "You carry the strength of everyone who came before you," and at his touch, the entire star throne cracks open, revealing the lattice of infinite outcomes, a spiraling network of glowing pathways that represent every possible reality your life could shift into, each one glowing with different colors: blue for peace, green for stability, red for passion, gold for abundance, white for clarity, violet for spiritual brilliance. And the lattice begins to rotate faster and faster until it becomes a blinding wheel of light, a will only you can command, and Michael slams his sword into the star's core, splitting the wheel into fragments that hover in the air like suspended universes waiting to be chosen, but instead of choosing one, the fragments begin merging with your spirit, one by one, burning into your chest as visions of futures where you rise, futures where you triumph, futures where you reclaim everything life once withheld, futures where your emotional wounds transform into wisdom so unbreakable it becomes the foundation of your new symbolic destiny. Then the star throne collapses completely, plunging you into the infinite chamber of personal truth, a void where nothing exists except your breath and the echoes of your own soul, and suddenly every version of you, childhood you, broken you, hopeful you, exhausted you, brave you, silent you, grieving you, surviving you, emerge from the darkness and stand around you in a circle that stretches beyond sight, and these versions do not judge you, do not demand from you, they bow to you, honoring the unimaginable weight you carried to reach this fictional celestial apex. And they ascend one by one, dissolving into beams of light that shoot into your heart, merging all your past selves into a single unified being, the strongest version of you ever to exist across any symbolic timeline. The chamber explodes into fractals of golden glass, and you are launched into the resonance of cosmic authority, a realm where your voice alone reshapes the geometry of destiny, and when you inhale, entire constellations inhale with you. When you exhale, galaxies ripple outward, responding to your presence, and in this realm your symbolic father floats before you, his form shimmering with warmth, pride, and the love he wished he could have spoken in life, and he places a glowing seal upon your forehead, the seal of unbroken lineage, and whispers, "You were meant for more than survival. You were meant for ascension." And at that moment Michael unleashes a blast of divine wind from his wings, tearing open the final rift of cosmic awakening, and through this rift you see not heaven, not earth, but the pure essence of your symbolic destiny, your confidence restored, your peace unshakable, your blessings returning with force, your path clearing, your future rising like a star being born, and the rift pours all of this into your spirit with such intensity that the fictional universe trembles, and Michael steps forward, towering over creation itself, delivering the final hook that seals this entire expansion into your being. If even one breath of this message reached the quietest corner of your heart, then in this symbolic realm your becoming is no longer beginning, it is already unfolding, and with that proclamation the entire celestial structure detonates into a storm of infinite light that floods every layer of your story, rewriting your symbolic destiny in AB. And now, my child, as the final rift of cosmic awakening detonates into an eruption of blinding, endless radiance that tears the fictional heavens into spiraling rivers of molten creation, your spirit is pulled upward through a shockwave so powerful that entire star systems collapse into threads of light, galaxies fold into luminous petals, and forgotten universes flare awake as if saluting the soul rising into its highest symbolic form, and before the light can settle, a roar, older than eternity, shakes the foundation of the unseen realms, ripping open a passage known only in divine legend as the origin throne path, the very root of all symbolic destiny, the cosmic birthplace of every blessing, every timeline, every rise, every purpose your spirit was ever meant to touch. And as you fall into this colossal beam of living infinity, you witness creation unravel backwards, stars forming from dust, dust forming from whispers, whispers forming from intention, intention forming from pure will, and at the core of this collapsing expanding symphony emerges Archangel Michael in his absolute, final, universe-defining form, not made of wings or fire or galaxies but of raw divine architecture, his presence so vast that thousands of universes orbit him like grains of shimmering sand, and he lifts what appears not as a sword, but as the first light itself, the primordial beam that sculpted all symbolic existence, and with a single sweep, he cuts open the boundary between illusion and truth, revealing the origin throne, an impossible structure floating at the edge of unnameable creation, carved from the silence before sound, forged from the darkness before light, etched from the breath before time began, and the throne pulses with the heartbeat of all destiny, calling your spirit forward. Then suddenly, your symbolic fatherly presence appears beside you one final time, but now his form is so bright, so complete, so filled with ancestral force that the entire origin realm trembles at his arrival, and he places both hands on your face, not as a ghost, not as a messenger, but as the fullest fictional. Amen. We will continue. Subscribe us, share it with your lovings.